Good afternoon. Thank you for the introduction and the opportunity to present today. Strickland Metals owns 100% of the Rogozna project in Serbia. We have a big mineral system and we have an internal target of trying to get to that 10 million ounce gold equivalent resource. 2026 is set to be a strong year with drilling of around 60,000 metres, and we will have regular news flow with the market updated, and we've got lots of announcements on the way. Moving on to the corporate overview. In terms of our board, we've got a very strong board that have a long history within the resources industry. They span exploration, they also have financial background and also management and technical expertise. Our Managing Director, Paul Lehepiniere, has been working on the project for 6 years and has 20 years of experience in global mineral exploration. Anthony McClure is our chairman. He is a veteran within the resources industry. He was the former MD of Silver Mines. He's also been on numerous boards with nickel mines and also Balnese Gold. We've recently built out our management team and they are we are now well equipped to take this project forward at Rogozna as we move through studies and eventually, hopefully, towards production. We have a market cap of 430 million. We're well funded with $25 million in cash, and we also have another 25 million in liquid investments. We're one of the very few juniors on the ASX that we haven't had to raise any money over the last few years to fund our exploration. We've had 2 assets which we have sold, and they've given us a total value of around $100 million, which has been able to fund all of our exploration works and our growth within the team. Looking on to our shareholder register, we've had a nice strong support from our retail base. We've got the board who have around 4% ownership of the shares, and then back in April this year we welcomed Zijin Mining onto the register via a strategic placement, and that's been very successful for us in terms of validating first the Rogozna project in Serbia, and also the quality of the project that we've got there, given Serbia is a place where most of the global mining companies operate. The last 3 months we've also seen some strong buying from our institutional funds, and that's just telling us that we're in the right direction, that is starting to get some traction with the market. Looking at 2025, it's been a really good year for us. We have done the biggest drill program on record. We've just got 2 weeks of drilling left in the season. We'll get close to hitting that 50,000 metres of drilling. We've had regular news flow with some really strong results out of Rogozna. We've also brought Zijin onto the register, which has been successful for us in validating the story. We've also sold the Yandal asset, so that was based in WA. We were able to sell that and get equity for that sale. We redistributed 80% of that equity to our shareholders, and the Gateway shares have now seen a 150% increase in share price since August. So we're one of the few juniors which have actually returned to our shareholders. This is a couple of charts of our drilling highlights for the year. So the chart on the left is the bulk tonnage intercepts, and so the different colours are the different deposits in the ore body. The yellow is Gradina, which is where we've spent 50% of our drilling this year, and the dark blue is Shanats, which is where we've spent also a fair bit of our drill holes and drilling. So the bulk intercepts, what that shows is that we've got that optionality around these, I suppose, effectively big bulk mining, hundreds of metres of mineralisation, and that's between 1 and 2 grams per tonne gold equivalent. The slide on the right looks at the narrow vein, or not narrow vein, the high grade intercepts. So we've had a bit of commentary from meetings that we've had that perhaps the grade looks low, but if we look at that chart on the right, we're actually getting some really good grades coming through, especially out of Gradina, and when we're getting between 3 and 5 grams per tonne gold equivalent. So it's looking like there's that optionality there between bulk mining and also that more selective. Looking now at Serbia. So I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with Serbia, but it's actually got a really long history of mining. We're located in the Western Magmatic Belt. It's got a long history of mining back to almost the Roman times, but definitely mining since the 1970s. We've got Zijin Mining, which is the largest operator in Serbia on the eastern belt there. We've got other global players such as Dundee Precious Metals. We've also, it's BHP, and Rio still have their land holding with Yadar. In terms of the Serbian government, they're still very supportive. We have, there's been a little bit of question around the Serbian government given what's happened with Rio, but we've only ever seen, positive engagement with the government. And to put this into perspective, Zijin over the last 5-6 years have spent around $5 billion on investment in Serbia. And so that just tells you that it's a good place to be, and with a supportive government. In terms of Rogozna, so this is our project area here. We've got around 180 square kilometres of tenure. Most of our exploration work and drilling has been on the right-hand side, where you see all those geochemistry on the right. So geochemistry has been a very good indicator of the mineral system, and so when we've targeted holes there, we've been very successful in hitting mineralisation. The current resource sits at 7.4 million ounce gold equivalent, and of that 7.4, we've got Shanats, which is at 5.3. So we've got 4 deposits here. We've got Shanats, Gradina, Copper Canyon and Medenovats, and we had a recent discovery called Kotlovi around 12 months ago, which we are progressing with our drilling. Importantly, I think the main thing to note here is that section in green on the left, that has been very underexplored. There's been very few holes put in there, and that's going to be a bit of a target for us as we move into 2026 with our exploration drilling. Sustainability. It's been very important for us for that community engagement and keeping, obviously for government as well. We've increased our workforce to around 60 people on site, and they're predominantly sourced from the local communities. They've got a very strong technical and management background, and they've been critical in place for the maintaining of day-to-day runnings of operations, especially with Paul, the managing director, based in Perth. They're a really great team, and we don't need any expats at this site. We've only got, I think, about 5 or 6 currently as it stands, and everybody else is based in Serbia. We spend around 2% of our budget, exploration budget, on community projects such as investing in the local schools. We also sponsor sporting events and reforestation of the mountains. And we see that community engagement as something that we need to do, and as something very positive, especially as we start progressing Rogozna towards that permitting stage. Now, just running through our deposits, Gradina, we'll kick off with this one first. This is the one where we've spent 50% of our drilling this year. It doesn't have a mineral resource on it currently, and we're hoping to put something out within the coming weeks on this deposit. It's been, as we look in 2025, our focus has not changed, but Gradina has become very important to us because of 2 things. It's predominantly gold only, it's got higher grades, and also it has very good metallurgical recoveries of around 90%. So as we think around the pathway to progressing Rogozna into production, Gradina is starting to look like perhaps the one. This is where we start because of those things, that the simple metallurgy and also that simple higher grade type operation. Here's a couple of cross section on the left and a long section on the right. With the cross section, you can see there the mineralisation is in the red, and then the pink is these intrusives. And the intrusives have been very important. They're a control on the mineralisation, and the high grade sits in and around those intrusives. And we're getting a very good handle on the geology and very confident with making sure that we've got the drilling in the right places, and it's all coming together. The picture has built over 2025, and now moving into 26, we know exactly where we need to target. The long section on the right shows sort of northern Gradina sort of on to the right, and then the longer mineralisation there is Gradina South. We're still doing some drilling in the middle. That's a bit of a gap zone at the moment, and we should have some assays back from there once, within the next sort of month or so. So far at Gradina, it remains open in all directions. We've got an open long strike to the north and the south, and also at depth. So we've currently defined around 1 kilometre in vertical extent and almost 1 kilometre along the strike. Shanats is where historically a lot of the focus was due to the resource size. It's got the 5.3 million ounce gold equivalent, and what you can see here is we've got this high grade core that's in the pink and the red. We've done a little bit of drilling here this year just to try and define that zone a little bit better. We're getting 200 to 300 metres of continuous mineralisation, and we're getting some higher grade intercepts within that. And this is what this really shows here in this deposit, is the optionality for big bulk scale mining to take the whole lot, and there's also the optionality around some selective mining of other zones. But we're really keeping our mind open on this. There is optionality here. Moving on to Copper Canyon. This one we haven't done a lot of work on lately. It's the only one of all of the deposits that has the potential to be an open pit. It's copper and it's gold, and we've done some remodelling on this one this year, especially given what the copper price is doing, and we've discovered that there's this gold zone in yellow further at depth. So we've done some follow-up holes with this one. We've released one hole to market, which has been quite good. You can see the intercept there on the slide. And we've got 2 more holes, which we're still waiting for assays back. But given how it's coming together this year and that gold-only zone, we'll probably follow up with a few holes again next year. So we've got a big drilling plan in place for 2026 across, I suppose, the key deposits, which is Gradina, Shanaks, Copper Canyon, and then also Kotlovi, which I'm going to come to next. So we've got Medenovats. This ties in with Kotlovi. Medenovats is the most base metals rich. We haven't done a lot of work on this year, and as we think about those 5 deposits that we've got, this is probably one that comes further down the track just because of those base metals and the lower percentage of gold in this deposit. But I'll move on to Kotlovi. So we discovered Kotlovi around 12 months ago, and it's only 350 metres to the west of Medenovats. Kotlovi is shaping up to be similar to Gradina in that it's got this high-grade gold zone, and we've only drilled 6 holes in this so far, and we've already got around 300 metres of strike length, and it remains open. So this will be a big focus for us next year. There's obviously no resource on this, and our target would be to obviously try and get something by the end of next year if drilling goes to plan. So here's a plan view of Kotlovi. So you can see we've got Medenavats there on the right, and we've got Kotlovi there, just the 6 drill holes. Well, there's only 3 or 4 in that one, but it just shows you how it's open to the north and it's also open to the south. So that's going to be a big target for us, and the gold only is really quite attractive as we think towards, future mining and tying in with Gradina. In terms of exploration, we see exploration as a big upside for us. We've focused 2 rigs on exploration this year, and we'll look to do something similar again next year. What we're really targeting here is looking for a porphyry system. We've got a lot of skarn mineralisation, which is where our current deposits sit, but with that, there's often a relationship there with a porphyry. We've had a porphyry expert on site 3 times, and he's working with us to look at this targeting. But we've done some additional geophysics work this year, and we've now narrowed down 3 main structures that are the controls for this system. And so we've done a little bit of work to the south at Jezerska Reka this year. It's on that horizontal line down at the south. We did hit 500 metres of porphyry-related veining, but unfortunately it was not economic. So it tells us that we've got the inklings of something there, but we just now need to refine our targeting. So in 2026, we're going to focus on that oblique line, and there's some targets there that we will hit with some drilling. So we see plenty of upside here and for exploration, but I think it's very important to note that while hitting a porphyry would be brilliant and it's a game changer for Strickland, we actually don't need it to make the project work. We've got 5 deposits that can take us through to a multi-decade mine life at some point, when we've done all of the studies, but exploration is really just that upside for us. We have more than enough to keep us busy as we stand today. And looks like I'm over time, so I'll let you read through, but really we've got 2026, a big drill program ahead, and we've got regular news flow on the horizon with resource updates, lots of drilling, and we're completing our internal studies, and we'll kick off some feasibility work. So, it's going to be a big year for 2026, so watch this space.